My name is Oksana Fetzlak. I'm the recruitment specialist in the Faculty of Science, and I'll be talking to you today about science specialization programs. So I think we'll go ahead and get started. So you're joining us today because you want to learn more about programs in the Faculty of Science, and it can definitely be a little bit confusing for students because we do have lots of programs to offer. We have the general programs, specialization programs, and honors programs, and a lot of students get confused between those three programs, so we're hosting all these webinars to help explain the difference between all of them. But before we get to talking about specialization, I did just want to talk about us as the Faculty of Science and why might you want to consider the Faculty of Science at the University of Alberta. We know that you're not born a scientist, and that's okay because it's our job to train you. And yes, we might be a really large faculty at the University of Alberta, but no matter what size we are, we have such a high dedication to the quality that your education will not at all be compromised. And in fact, you're going to be really challenged in your degree. It's going to be a very innovative degree, and you will become part of a small science community within a large university. So when it comes to things that we pride ourselves on, labs are really important in your science degree, and you'll have lots of lab training throughout your degree where you'll learn effective experimentation, specialized lab techniques, and the ability to operate and understand complex apparatus. You'll also experience the highest number of contact hours and lowest lab fees in first-year science labs compared to any other university in Canada. We also have lots of unique learning sites, both on and off campus. So you can participate in these learning sites on campus. Maybe they'll be through field school classes or other specialized facilities. So just to name a few, we have lots of museums on campus. We have a paleontology and mineralogy museum. We have a fully functioning greenhouse with lots of different temperature controlled rooms on the top of the biological sciences building. We have something called the Dino Lab where people out in the field are actually bringing fossils that they find here in Alberta, and they're brought to the Dino Lab and you scrape away and dust away at them. We have an astronomical observatory on the top floor of our building, so you can check out and look at the solar system, the sun. It's really cool. Just around our building, there's a geoscience rock garden, so students who are taking earth and atmospheric science courses as part of their lab, they'll be out in the geoscience rock garden, checking out the different rocks. We have a hardware hacker space where you can do 3D printing and woodworking, just to name a few. So all of these spaces are available to you as a student, and you can access them as part of your degree. We also have hundreds of courses to choose from, so students are really happy about the selection of courses that we offer, and it can really give you that variety that you're seeking in your degree program. And we do offer a lot of interdisciplinary and online courses as well. We offer the opportunity to participate in research right from first year, so you don't actually have to wait until future years to get involved in research. We're a research-intensive university, so you can add that to your undergraduate program. And our professors are world-renowned, so it's really cool that these professors that are doing research on the side are actually also teaching courses. So you get to meet these professors who are really passionate and educated, and that kind of comes through when they're teaching you their courses. And lastly, we do offer lots of resources. So if you ever need advice on your degree program or just assistance with picking courses, we have a dedicated team of advisors. Plus, there are a lot of academic support services on campus for students. And the ones in science specifically, like you can have assistance with your math and statistics assignments, chemistry, lab reports, as well as your physics homework. And of course, professors are always willing to assist students with their office hours. So you have lots of options when it comes to the University of Alberta and the Faculty of Science. So we have 4 different degree types. We classify them in, as I mentioned before, general, specialization, honors, and then we have the combined science and education program. So today, I'm going to be focusing on specifically the combined science and education program, as well as just all of our specialization degrees, and hope that you understand what might be a better fit for you as you plan to apply to the university this year. So what can you study in our faculty? Well, you have lots of options, and some of them you might recognize because you focus on them in high school. So topics like biological sciences, chemistry, math and statistical sciences, and physics, which might be common to you. But we also have really neat areas like computing science, earth and atmospheric sciences, psychology, and then the medical and health sciences. So really, You can study any of these areas in our faculty, and with a specialization degree in particular, you're actually focusing on one particular subject area within one of these different disciplines, which is a little bit different than a general science program. So in a general science program, you pick your major or a double major or like a major and a minor combination. But in a specialization degree, you actually don't have two areas that you study. You focus in on one. So let's talk about the features of a specialization degree. So it is still considered a four-year Bachelor of Science program. That doesn't change from, the general or the honors streams. The main difference here is that you just aren't studying two subject areas. So on your application, if you are interested in a specialization program, you actually have to pick the major that you'd like to study. So you can't leave it undeclared, you can't leave it open-ended. A specialization degree is really going to go in depth into one discipline area in that science area. So this program is also a little bit more academic than general sciences. So you'll have to maintain a higher GPA on a yearly basis to remain in good standing and continue on in your program. And that GPA range is usually a 2.3 to 2.7. And then the other important feature about the specialization programs is that the course load is only full-time. So in a general science program, you have the opportunity to study part-time or full-time, but in a specialization program, you can only study full-time. So what exactly does full-time mean? Full-time is usually considered 3 to 5 courses per term, but our specialization programs will actually indicate exactly how many courses you need to take in each term and for each year. And that course load is usually 18 to 24 courses, which would be 6 to 8 courses for the fall and winter terms. So that could be as little as 3 courses per term to 4 courses per term. So in this degree program, you're also going to be following a pretty specific course curriculum. So students in a general science program, they have the ability to kind of pick and choose the courses they want to take and build their schedule year to year to year. But in a specialization program, you actually just reference the University of Alberta calendar, and all of your courses are laid out for you year 1 through year 4. Obviously, if you're not taking the full course load of 30 credits and you're focusing on 18 to 24 credits per year, it'll take you a little bit longer than 4 years to finish your degree. So hopefully that gives you a better idea of how specialization differs from general sciences. So just to summarize, a specialization degree focuses on one particular subject area within a discipline. And I'll get to the next slide to kind of explain that. And your GPA is a little bit higher than if you're in general sciences, and your course curriculum is set out for you. So what can you study in terms of specialization? So this is a good slide to kind of compare how it would be in general sciences. So maybe if you were in the general science program and you wanted to study physics, you could pick that as your major, but you still have to pick a second area of study, and that could be another major in science or a minor. But if you're in a specialization program, you can see that if you're going to specialize in physics, you're specializing in physics and you don't have a second area of study. Then we have a lot of other different areas. So maybe if you like a particular field of physics, you can study astrophysics, or you can study geophysics. Maybe you have an interest in the environment, and that's where you might study geology, environmental earth sciences, or maybe you're interested in paleontology, so you can actually focus on paleontology. We have a lot of our medical and health science programs here, so that would be biochemistry, cell biology, immunology and infection, pharmacology, physiology. So a lot of students are interested in those fields. And then you'll notice that some programs do still have a minor, and a lot of those are for the computing science programs because they've decided that these programs pair well with that particular minor. So you can have a computing science specialization with a business minor. You can do a computing science specialization with software practice. So you have a lot of different options. The only thing to note here is anything with an asterisk, so the mathematics and finance program, as well as the computing science business minor program, they are not direct entry. So that means you can apply to these programs right from high school. You'll actually have to enter the general science program first, complete a certain number of courses and a competitive GPA, and you'd have to apply to transfer to these programs for your second year, or it might even be beyond your second year. A lot of our students, sometimes they enter a program and they decide that that's not the right fit and they choose to transfer, and you can absolutely do that. You'll just have to be aware of the application timelines, which is exactly the same as it was applying from high school, and then just submit an application to the program you'd like to transfer to. All of the requirements for transferring are available in the calendar, so when you get to that point in time, you can always contact Student Services and we can assist you with where to find that information. But just know that you do have the option to transfer. So some students start in specialization and then they transfer to general sciences, or they might start in general sciences and want to transfer over to an honors program. So that's totally fine. Another thing about specialization programs is that you're assigned a departmental advisor. And so this is an advisor that is in the department that you can contact to assist you with your courses and other resources for your particular program. So they're really knowledgeable in terms of the program that you're studying, and they can give you advice for your course sequencing, choosing electives as well. Another thing to note in a specialization degree is you don't have as much flexibility to take as many electives and options like you would in a general science program, but you do have some. So you can actually still take electives outside of this particular area. So if you're in, say, the neuroscience, or sorry, not neuroscience, if you're in the biochemistry program and you want to take some arts courses, you can definitely do so. And it's usually about 1 or 2 electives that you can add per year with the permission from your departmental advisor. The other program that I want to talk about is our combined science and education program. This is a good fit for someone if, one, you know you'd like to be a teacher and teach at the secondary level, so that would be junior high and high school, but you also, you're really passionate about science and you just love science, and you know that you only want to teach science. So in this program, you're actually going to get 2 degrees in 5 years. So we've structured the course sequencing so that you can actually receive 2 degrees in 5 years. It's a little bit shorter than if you were to go and say, finish your science degree first in 4 years and then do an after degree in education. That would be another 2 years. It would actually take 6 years to do that. So this is cutting off a year, 2 degrees in 5 years. Why might you do this instead of maybe going to education? If you were to go to the Faculty of Education, your major that you choose to study could be science, but your minor could be in another area. So you could pair, like, you know, teaching chemistry with teaching social. In this particular program, you have to pick 2 science areas. So you can't be teaching social or art or another language. You're prepping yourself to teach 2 science areas. So it's a really structured course curriculum, and you're expected to maintain a higher GPA in this program than you would if you were in the general science program. Typically, that's about a 2.3 GPA, and it is full-time. So that would require you to take between 8 and 10 courses per year. What are the combinations that you can study in the combined science education? You can have biology as your major, math as your major, or the physical sciences as your major. And then you'd have to pair it with a minor. So do you want it to be math, the physical sciences, or biology? So you can pick from anything in this list. And so again, when you're submitting your application, you would have to indicate that on your application. So I did just want to quickly introduce 2 students that we have with us today. They are in specialization programs in our faculty, and that's Anahat and Janelle. They're both in their 3rd year, and they're going to come on and just give a quick summary about themselves. And then we have a couple more slides, and then we're going to open it up to questions that you can ask them. So perhaps I'll call on Anahat first, since you're on the list, and say hello to everyone.
Hi everyone, my name is Anahat and I'm in my 3rd year of a specialization degree in psych. I am from Edmonton and I went to high school at Harry Ainley, so if any of you went there, shout out. And I chose the U of A because the U of A really gave me a great mix of community as well as academic rigor, so I'm really able to challenge myself with courses, but as well as I was able to find a tight-knit community here. And funny story, I actually started off in a neuroscience program, and then I switched to general, and then switched a few majors, and then now I'm in specialization in my 3rd year. And I think this one's here to stay now. So it's okay if you don't know what you're getting into in your 1st year. It took me till 3rd year to finally decide on a program. Yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Perfect, thank you so much. And Janelle, would you like to come on and say hello to everyone?
Hi everyone. So my name is Janelle. I'm in my third year of a Bachelor of Science Specialization in Integrative Physiology. So I am from just outside of Edmonton in Spruce Grove, and I went to school at Memorial Composite High School in Stony Plain. I chose to attend the U of A because it's still close to my family and it has a really reputable science program. And I just thought it was a good fit for me. So I entered my program directly from high school and I've stuck with it throughout all 3 years of my degree. I really like it. And I really like that it offers, there is more flexibility in the program than there is in honors. There is less flexibility than in a general science degree though. So you have to like what you choose to do. And I also like that the GPA requirement is a little bit higher than for general sciences, just because it's like a motivating factor. It pushes you to do your best. And I also really like the focus of the program. So I'm doing what I like, and yeah, it's perfect. I also really like that we have our own academic advisors. We have so you'll either have like one or two for your program, and you really get to know them and you get to build a relationship with them, and they really are there to help you out, and you get to know them. And similarly, you also get to know your professors and your peers in your program, because you are in classes that are smaller, especially not so much in your first 2 years, but especially in your third year and even more in your fourth year, the classes are a lot smaller. So you'll be able to build that relationship or those relationships with your professors and as well with the other people in your program. And I'm interested in research. So my goal is to go to grad school, and I just love being in the lab, learning new techniques and methods and doing experiments. And yeah, it's amazing to explore and be a part of the scientific community. So that's a little bit about myself. Yeah, that's it. So I'm happy to answer any of your questions that you guys have.
Excellent. Thank you so much. So they'll stick around. They're not going anywhere. I just wanted to quickly give them a chance to introduce themselves, so you can maybe think about questions you'd like to ask them, and we'll take all questions after we're done a few more slides. And just a reminder that you can submit questions, and we will be taking questions after the presentation is over. Yeah, so let's just continue on. A couple more slides, and then we'll take your questions. So I definitely would say that a lot of students, when I meet them on the road or in their schools, they always think that they can't find a career in science. They're like, what can you do with your science degree? I heard you can't do anything. So it's definitely not true. We have created a website that you can reference to give you an idea of what you can, what you can work towards and what career opportunities are available to you. So uab.ca/science careers. And it'll just give you like a summary of what you can expect to learn in this degree program, what kind of skills you'll have, and then potentially where you might go work. It's not a definite list by any means. So, even by the time you graduate, there might be new career opportunities available to you. So just know that our students do find work after graduation, and you can also incorporate an internship program into your degree. So what do you need to get into specialization programs? So you'll want to use the tool on uab.ca/programs. It's a really good tool to use because you can even filter the courses by province. So for today's purposes, I'm using the courses that you would need if you were living in Alberta, but you can toggle between the different provinces in Canada. So you need 5 high school courses to be admitted to the Faculty of Science, and the courses will have to be English 30-1 and Math 30-1. Those 2 are a must. The other 2 courses have to be from sciences. So it has to be Chemistry 30, Math 31, Bio 30, Computing Science Advanced, or Physics 30. And then the 5th subject can actually be one of 100. It could be a fine arts course, which could be like Drama 30, Art 30. We take humanities courses, so Aboriginal Studies 30 or Social 30-1. Any other language course, so Chinese 30, Spanish 30, anything that you're taking at 30 level, or another math or science course. So we do accept science 30 for that one. The important thing to remember is that when you are applying, you would provide us with a list of everything. So don't just give us a list of 5 courses. You're going to give us a list of everything you've completed at the grade 11 level, plus anything you've completed maybe at the grade 12 level. And then you're also going to give us a list of what you're taking in grade 12. So we have a really good snapshot of what you're taking. And just know that when you do apply, if you're not automatically admitted when you apply, we do reassess you at certain points throughout the year. So it's a rolling application, so don't panic too much. Applications will open October 1st until March 1st. So it is coming up pretty quickly. And there are advantages to applying early. So there's a scholarship deadline that is usually the second week of December. So if you want to be able to apply for those other scholarships, you do have to apply and submit your application first. So you'd have to apply before that scholarship deadline, and then you can apply for those other scholarships. Some students, they ask me, you know, like, should I wait and hold off? My marks will be better, you know, when I finish more courses. I still recommend applying early because then you get it out of the way, your application is submitted, and like I said, you can still give us updates if you have new marks that come along. So another thing to keep in mind is that when you're entering a specialization or honors program, we have a chart on our website that is called the high school prerequisites. So although you might be admitted to the Faculty of Science with those 5 subjects, the program that you would have applied to also has specific grade 12 courses that they recommend that you have so that you'll succeed in that program. So it's really important that you check this list. So for example, you could be admitted to, say, the astrophysics specialization with the 5 courses that I mentioned, but what if you didn't take physics 30? You're not necessarily lining yourself up for success in the astrophysics program. So make sure that you have the courses that are in this list. Another example is if you want to go into the combined science and education degree, technically you could be admitted with a physics 30 course and a bio 30, and you don't necessarily need to have another science course if you have a subject, but this program specifically requires you to have bio 30 and chemistry 30 because you have to take certain courses in this program to, you know, to progress in the degree. So there is a link that you can find on the science website. So being admitted to science can be different from the high school prerequisites for our specialization and honors programs. So I hope that makes sense. That brings us to the end of the formal slides.